There's big breaking news coming in at the top of 8 here on First Up. Defence Minister Arun Jaitley is very angry. He has sought an explanation from India's Defence Secretary R.K. Mathur on an affidavit that was filed recently in Supreme Court. In fact, on the 2nd of June, against Minister of State in this very government, former Army Chief General V.K. Singh. The Defence Ministry affidavit had called General V.K. Singh's disciplinary ban on Army Chief Designate Lieutenant General Balbir Singh Suhag as illegal and suggested that it was malafide, widely seen as inexplicable friendly fire.
Well, General V.K. Singh, former Army Chief and the present Minister of State for Northeast Affairs and the Ministry of External Affairs, had hit out at the Ministry of Defence. Arun Jaitley has asked the Defence Secretary to find out who wrote and cleared that affidavit.
This is a huge embarrassment for the MoD government, because General V.K. Singh is not only a former Chief of Army Staff, but a man who was at the centre of a very high-profile row with the previous government, and to be seen to be almost reprimanded by this own government, his very own government, is being seen as a massive controversy. Friendly fire. Who really did it? That's what the Defence Minister wants to know. Let's go straight across to Editor Strategic Affairs, Gaurav Sawant, breaking the story early this morning here on Headlines Today. Gaurav, R.K. Mathur, the Defence Secretary, will have to come up with an explanation, but what are you hearing? How did this even happen, Gaurav?
General V.K. Singh, who's presently MOS for Northeast Development and MOS for External Affairs, he wrote yesterday that there is a UPA lobby which is still functioning in the Ministry of Defence, and it's that UPA lobby, whether it's in the bureaucracy or even in the Judge Advocate General branch of the Army, according to sources in Army headquarters. Now, they filed a similar affidavit, or precisely the same affidavit, in the Armed Forces Tribunal earlier, in Lieutenant General Ravi Dastane's case. General V.K. Singh had put General Suhag under DV ban barely 48 hours before he retired, and at that point of time, he given an explanation of why General Suhag was being put under a DV ban. This was called illegal, it was called malafide, it was called, premeditated, and there was nothing material on paper to suggest why this was done, is the MoD explanation in Supreme Court. Now, the Congress lashed out at the BJP and especially at General V.K. Singh, saying even his own government now has no faith in him and he should quit. And this has really embarrassed the government, and from what my sources in Defence Ministry are telling me, he sought an explanation. How could this affidavit be refiled in court, and who cleared it?
And you know, Gaurav, as you rightly pointed out, and I just want you quickly to tell us about what you think about this. The implications are enormously serious. On the one hand, it implies, that a proper thought is not being, perhaps given to these very serious issues by this fledgling government. And second, that there could be factions within the MoD, as General V.K. Singh is alleging.
And that is fratricidal in a situation like this. We have a part-time defence minister. Arun Jaitley is finance minister, and he's naturally with the budget session coming.
Absolutely.
He's concentrating on budget, and this, we are being told, will be a landmark budget. That is what sources tell us. So while he's focusing on budget, defence ministry cannot function on autopilot. But an affidavit has, gone. Did the Defence Secretary see this affidavit? Did the Defence Secretary clear this affidavit? If not, which additional secretary cleared it? How did the Judge Advocate General clear it?
Absolutely.
One thing is clear, Shiv and Rishika, at this point of time, General Suhag will be elevated as the next Chief of the Army Staff. There are no two ways about that. Arun Jaitley has gone on record and he told us that. There is nothing personal against the officer. It's only the manner in which he was elevated or he was designated as Chief of the Army Staff that there were issues with it. Why was the UPA government so desperate?
Thanks,
but
Gaurav.
The fact that such an affidavit is still going is something very serious.
Gaurav, thanks very much for getting us this crucial update on this big breaking story. We're going to track it through the day. I'm going to come back to you in an hour, Gaurav, and we'll get an even clearer sense of how the Ministry of Defence is really going to offer up an explanation for such, such a big controversy right there in the beginning of this government, and it pertains to no small fry. It pertains to a former Chief of Army Staff. In fact, the Congress's Abhishek Manu Singhvi has reacted and said that this controversy means even his own government has no faith in the former Army Chief.
The Congress, I want to ask on behalf of the Congress, with this vote of no confidence by the government in a solemnly sworn affidavit against its own member of its own Council of Ministers, is it possible for a minister in the Union Council to continue? This is a direct vote of no confidence by the government. With this vote of clear no confidence, I don't think in any view of the matter that member of the Council of Ministers can continue